Hey, it's Tim Derling with another edition of Tim's Vinyl Confessions. Thanks for watching this one. This one is all about Rush, and it's all about 8-tracks. Anybody that's watched any amount of these shows and knows me knows that I like collecting 8-track versions of rock albums that I like. And it's getting harder and harder to do. Very rarely do you come across them just going someplace. You usually have to do it online. And this is the most complete collection I've got, although it isn't complete. My Rush 8-track collection, I think I've got every one of their albums that were released on 8-track to retail, but I'm missing a couple at the tail end, and I'll tell you more about that. So we'll go through these Rush 8-tracks. This is my copy of the first album. It's US on Mercury. I've seen various colored ones. I kind of like this blue casing on this one. Next up is a series of that I've got that are Canadian, but it's pre-Anthem Records, so they were on Mercury Records in Canada. So this is my version of Fly By Night. I've had this one for a long time. It's not in the greatest of shape, but it's good enough for me. Track listing is mixed up there, but you can see, if you can see in the small print, that is Mercury Polygram's address in Quebec. So yeah, this predates Anthem Records. Same thing for Caress of Steel. This one, when I bought this off eBay, it's got somebody's phone number written on it. Same thing as Fly By Night tends to do this here. Not sure why that is. Maybe it was in the sun, but not in the worst of shape. I've certainly seen ones in worse shape than that. And again, I guess the song titles on this one, by nature of them, are in the right order, unlike the early US cassettes. Next up, 2112, again, another Canadian edition on Mercury. You can barely make out the title, but you can tell where it's there. Where I bought this from, they wrote 50 cents on there. I hate that, but that's my copy of 2112. Never understood that, why they would write the price right on something. It's almost like putting a sticker on it that can't properly come off. So this one here is the first one I've got that's on Anthem Records, so it's a Canadian version of All the World's a Stage. This has a stamp on the side of it, July 26, 1978. I don't know if somebody got rid of this and that's the date that they got rid of it. But this is an Anthem Records version distributed by Capitol, not distributed by Polydor. So it's a slightly later edition of it, because I've seen copies of the older albums that are on Anthem but have Polydor distribution. Farewell to Kings. This is another Canadian edition on Anthem Records. One of my favorite Rush albums ever. And this one, this one still has the songs in the right order. It's interesting to note that the way that they were broken up into 4 programs. Program 4 of this is it's the second half of Cygnus X1. Next up's a bit on the rare side for Rush, Archives, their first 3 albums in one set. It was issued on 8-track. I've found volume 2 of it, which is just Caress of Steel. So I'm missing the first 2 albums. I'm missing the first tape of Archives, but that's what the second one looks like. It's a US version on Mercury, so it says right there, volume 2, Rush Archives. So obviously the first one has Rush and Fly By Night, although it does have all of the tracks listed on both tapes. So I hope to find that eventually. Interesting to get the Starman logo on there too, so it's quite personalized. And it also says how these were originally released and on what albums. Also in 1978, Hemispheres. This is a US version on Mercury Records. La Villa Strangato, spread out over 2 tracks. It's all of the last of track 4. Hemispheres takes up programs 1 and 2. So next up is Permanent Waves from 1980. You will look very close. That's the first thing to look for, is to see if the Dewey Defeats Truman headline is on the paper, which I don't believe that it is. I believe that it's purposely obscured out. It's really, really hard to tell on here. And songs are in the right order on this one too, and they broke up Free Will. That means that Natural Science gets its own program, so all of the program 4 consists of 1 song. PDI, Polygram Distribution, something or other, I believe is what that stands for. Polygram Distribution Incorporated. And that's what their cassettes looked like too at the time with that beige color. Of course, the most successful Rush album, Moving Pictures. This is a US copy on Mercury. A little bit different on the coloring on the logo there. And song titles are mixed up on this one. I'll give you a chance to regard those. '81. Rush have a lot of live albums. I think this one's my favorite, Exit Stage Left. Of course, you're missing the back cover as you would be on the cassette as well. US Mercury edition, Polygram Records, looking more and more modern, slightly. And that's how they broke up the tracks on here. The live album, they pretty much have to put these in the right order. Pretty much. It's interesting to note they didn't break up any songs on here, I don't believe. A lot of tape on this one, though. Each program about 18 minutes long, 18 to 20 minutes long. And the newest retail Rush album I've seen, it was around 1982 into the very beginning of 1983 that record companies stopped making 8-tracks for retail sale, and they were only available through Columbia House and RCA Music Service. So I was fortunate to pick up Signals. This is from 1982. I don't have a lot of 8-tracks that are from 1982 and newer, although I do have a few. A little messed up on the side, but I can live with it. And there you go. That's what the back cover looks like, and that's how the songs were broken up. Song titles are slightly out of order. They were trying, the idea, I believe, was to make each program as even as they could so that there wasn't a lot of space. So my Rush 8-track collection stops there. Pretty sure that's it for the retail ones, although there are 2 others that I know of that are out there. I know that Grace Under Pressure was released on 8-track through Columbia House in Canada because I've seen a picture of it, and through RCA Music Service in the States. And within the last year, I've learned that RCA Music Service in the States actually issued Power Windows. So we're all the way up to 1985 here. Those are ones that probably never find. I've never seen a copy of Power Windows. I've only ever seen a picture of the front and back cover. Grace Under Pressure I've seen come up on eBay once in a while. The bidding starts at a ridiculous amount beyond my capabilities, but people are into buying that stuff. It's cool. I just dream of just coming across a bunch of 8-tracks somewhere at a yard sale where clearly the seller doesn't know what they've got and they're super cheap. So you never know. It's all part of the fun. But that's my Rush 8-track collection. Thanks for watching this edition of Tim's Vinyl Confessions.